The 5TB PS5 is here. The PS5 Pro is allegedly coming in the next couple years, but you can get one right now. And here's the next big upgrade you can buy for your PS5. How's it going, everyone, and welcome to PSReady. It's October, it's my favorite month of the year. Halloween season is in full swing. I have been watching horror movies every night and playing horror games, but one that I did not have on my schedule of stuff to watch and play this Halloween season is Fortnite. Now, this is a game that I definitely have a love-hate relationship with, and the love aspect of it is entirely based on what characters are in the game that I actually like, and then I play it for a few hours with my friends, and then I get bored, and I don't play it for a few months until they add a new character. And we're definitely about to hit one of those upswings because they just put out a trailer for their Fortnitemares event, and I was watching through it just to see what was up, and then I saw a character who I initially would have never thought would be in Fortnite, but then when I thought about it for a sec, it all made sense. The character I'm talking about is Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. If you guys have never seen an Evil Dead movie, it's basically what happens when a normal dude ends up reading a book that summons a bunch of demons that rip on him constantly, and he ends up having to cut his own hand off and make a chainsaw that can fit over it, and his other weapon is a double-barreled shotgun that he calls his boomstick. There's a new game that came out this year, which is why I was like, oh, this makes sense that he would show up in Fortnite, because unfortunately the game is an Epic Store exclusive on PC, which means its player base is way smaller than it really should or would be if it was also released on Steam. But the PS5 version looks and runs really well. I think that's honestly the best way to play the game, but regardless of where you buy it, which you should, it's on sale right now and it's on sale all the time, you'll never really run out of people to play it with because it has full crossplay. But like I mentioned, I'm not the biggest Fortnite player. I don't really get how the store works because I just figured that now that the update's live for the Fortnitemares event, I could just jump into the game and buy Ash right away, but he's not in the store. So if you guys have some insight on how the Fortnite store works, give me an assist here and let me know when I can buy Ash down in the comments. So with Sony's showcase nowhere to be found, a lot of people are starting to get worried about games that they wanted to be at the event that we haven't heard anything about. And obviously, one of Sony's biggest upcoming games is Spider-Man 2. And when it was announced with a 2023 release date. We haven't really heard anything about the game other than that initial announcement trailer. And if you look at that trailer, there's not really a whole lot in it. So yeah, people are kind of worried about this game. The only thing we've actually heard lately is that Insomniac and Sony actually went and showed it to Marvel. And Marvel was like absolutely blown away by the progress that had been made. It was like exceeding their expectations. But now we have some more concrete information from Insomniac themselves because a fan actually reached out to them on Twitter and said they were starting to get worried about this game, and Insomniac flat out said don't. They're making great progress on the game and they are well on their way to meeting that 2023 deadline, which admittedly is a pretty nebulous and big deadline, right? Like, I don't think they're going to be releasing the game in February of 2023, which honestly is good because there's a ton of games coming out. But if they have till the end of next year, I think they'll probably be able to get this one out in time, because not only did Miles Morales come out pretty quick, but it also felt like a pretty big step up from the original Spider-Man. It seems like Insomniac really just has their shit together, which is a big reason why Sony picked them up in the first place. They're not a studio who's known to really delay a lot of their games. Some upgrades I'd like to see in Spider-Man 2, obviously some people think there's going to be co-op. I don't know if it's going to be baked into the actual story. It just doesn't seem like something that would happen. I'm thinking more like Ghost of Tsushima, right? Where the actual single player story, maybe you jump between Miles, Peter, and then maybe Venom, which would be really cool, but then they have some sort of multiplayer game or mode like Ghost of Tsushima Legends, where one person can play as Peter, one as Miles, and one as Venom. And honestly, the fact that they're introducing Venom and he's voiced by Tony Todd, the Candyman himself, that gets me so excited for this game in the first place. But man, I hope that Wolverine game, which is supposedly going to be rated M, which is great, kind of ushers in an era of M-rated superhero video games, or ushers in a new era of them, because I would love to play a Venom video game, especially if he's still voiced by Tony Todd. I don't know, man. This franchise seems like it really has some legs. I love the Peter Parker, the original one on PS4. I like the one that they kind of replaced him with. I kind of came around on him, but yeah, the original Peter Parker on PS4 is the best. And playing that game for the first time when it came out, especially around Halloween, because it is a Halloween game, that's like one of the best memories ever. So by the time you're seeing this, the Silent Hill event has happened, and I don't know if we're going to get a revival of of PT featuring Hideo Kojima? I highly doubt it. But because Silent Hill is back in the news, a lot of people have nostalgia for PT, the demo that came out on PS4 randomly, I think during Gamescom, and I remember playing it that night and it was really scary. Then of course, when Kojima and Konami had their big breakup, it was taken off of the PlayStation Store, and then in an even weirder move, Konami was able to get Sony to remove it from people's accounts. So if you had it on your PS4, you could just basically play it whenever you wanted, but if you ever deleted it or you got a new console, it was really hard to get it back. I know there was some ways to get around it, and then this basically became not really an issue when it was rebuilt on PC in Unity, so people could just play it that way. But now it looks like someone's revived the demo and gotten it to run on their PS5. So this is kind of confusing, but the person who was able to figure this out is named Lance McDonald. And what he did is he took a jailbroken PS4 emulator off of a jailbroken PS5 and transferred it with USB to his working non-jailbroken PS5, and that allowed him to emulate PT on his actual console. And he specifically says the gist of it is that you need to own PT legitimately on your PSN account, and you need to have your PSN account activated on a jailbroken PS5 and on a normal fully updated PS5. So you actually need two PS5s to do this, and one of them jailbroken, and I personally would not log into my PlayStation Network account on a jailbroken PS5. That is just not a risk I want to take. I have way too many games in my account. I have way too many platinum trophies that I would be scared of Sony realizing I was logging in on a jailbroken PS5 and then them banning my account forever, which I have definitely heard of them doing that back in the PS3 days when people were jailbreaking those consoles. So that's why it's good that there's video of this running on Lance's PS5, and he actually ended up streaming the game on Twitch, which is pretty cool. I miss this concept so much. It felt like scary American horror to me, even though it was Kojima, and I guess like his Japanese development side of Kojima Productions making it. He really nailed that small town look and feel that I look for in a lot of the horror games I play. And as someone who's playing through Silent Hill 2 right now and absolutely loving it, I am just so excited for more Silent Hill, but I'll talk about it a lot more once I actually see the event that's happening after I record this video. But yeah, regardless, I just wanted to let you guys know that all hope is not lost on PT. There is a way to get it and play it on your PS5, but you need two of them. One of them needs to be jailbroken. You need to log into your PSN account on the jailbroken PS5 and the good PS5 that's not jailbroken, and then transfer the game over. So it's like $1,000 of effort right there, and maybe losing your account forever. So the choice is yours on whether or not you want to do that. Also, I heard the jailbreak only works 30% of the time, so maybe we just wait and see and let Lance fall on the sword for us on this one. So I've talked about it a few times here on the channel, but Samsung recently announced a brand new SSD that has some really good PS5 features and also Windows features. It's the Samsung 980 Pro, and if you put it in your PC, it has direct storage, which is cool, but in the PS5, it's basically the fastest SSD you can buy. And because it's replacing the 980 Pro, it's actually not going to be that much more expensive. And just to be clear, it's the same price as the MSRP of the 980 Pro, but that's fallen at least like $40 to $60 depending on which version you're buying, like what storage capacity. But the cool update here is that not only do we have a release date of this SSD, which is November 1st, so you'll be able to get the 1 terabyte for $169 and the 2 terabyte for $289 on November 1st, but you might want to wait until 2023 because Samsung has teased that they're working on a 4 terabyte version of this SSD. Now, there's no word on the performance of that 4 terabyte version, but it's supposed to be available in 2023, like I mentioned. And the idea of having a 5 terabyte PS5, or really a 4.68 terabyte PS5, is absolutely crazy to me. Now, that's definitely a number that with something like the library of games you get on PS Plus Extra and Premium, you could definitely fill that up pretty easily, but you would have to download a ton of games. And as someone who has a 3 terabyte PS5, because I have a 2 terabyte drive and then the 680 gigabytes of usable storage on the thing, I am nowhere near the capacity of that console so far. But if you're someone who downloads a lot of huge games, like I would say Warzone or every Call of Duty or any Assassin's Creed game like Assassin's Creed Valhalla's Ultimate Edition, you might want to look into this 4 terabyte SSD for the PlayStation 5. Now, there's no word on price yet. Obviously, this thing's going to be pretty pricey, but the way it's worked with the other two drives is that the 1 terabyte is $169, and then you're only paying a little over $100 more for the 2 terabyte, right? Like it's $170 to $280. So with that in mind, you would think that this is going to be around $500, which is definitely pricey, right? Like you need a PS5 for $500 or more if you're buying a scalped one, and then you're paying $500 for a new drive. So all in, you're $1,000. The cool thing is when you get your PS5 Pro or your PS5 Slim, or even going up to the PS6, because of the speeds you're seeing on this thing, like the actual requirements of the PlayStation 5 to use it, it's going to be future-proofed, and you're going to be able to take it from device to device. I actually have a 980 in my laptop, and I've used it on like multiple laptops because I have an entire Steam library on it, and it just works. $500 for a 4 terabyte SSD is pretty expensive. It might be worth checking out if you're someone who likes having all of your games readily available whenever you want to play them. And the last story I have for you guys today is about the long-awaited DualSense Edge, because not only do we get full-on pictures of how it works and everything that comes in the box, we also have the price and release date. Now, I gotta give Ray credit on this one. He accurately predicted the price of this thing at $200, and you'll be able to pick it up on January 26th. Man, that release date is a little bit weird to me because you would think Sony would want to get it out before the holiday, and having it that close to the holiday season, it feels like they were trying to get there, but maybe they just couldn't, and that's why it's releasing in January. But you'll be able to pre-order it starting on October 25th, and what you get for that $200, honestly, I think is pretty damn cool. So what you're getting in the box is actually pretty cool for the $200. You're getting a case that obviously resembles the look and feel of the PS5. To me, it looks like a nice case. You're obviously getting the controller, a USB braided cable, 2 standard caps, 2 high dome caps, 2 low dome caps, 2 half dome back buttons, 2 lever back buttons, connector housing, and carrying case. And one of the coolest things about this controller that I think helps it beat out the competition is that you're actually able to change the stick modules. So those are only going to be $20, and if you want to keep the different stick caps on different modules, you could slot them in, or if you ever end up experiencing stick drift out of warranty, you'll be able to just buy a new module for $20 and just swap it out instead of going through the process of sending it into Sony and buying a whole new controller. If it's in warranty, I would assume they'll be able to fix it. But the cool thing about that is if you do get stick drift while it's in warranty, you could theoretically just send in the broken module versus sending in the entire controller. And if you had an extra one of these modules laying around, you could slot that in while you wait for the original one to get sent back from Sony. Obviously, $200 is a lot because that puts it at a higher price than I'm pretty sure any Elite controller has ever been. If I'm correct, the original one was $150, and then the sequel, the V2, was $180. Now you can get the white one for I think $130, but still, this controller looks extremely premium. The thing that I really want to be able to do with it though is have it do the thing that the Xbox One does, where it can remember an Xbox and a Bluetooth connection at the same time, so you can just double tap the button to switch between your devices. I love that feature, and I feel like it should be included on a $200 premium controller. Other than that, I would also love if they made it so you could use this thing wirelessly on PC with all these Sony games that have DualSense features, because even if you use the wireless Steam input, it basically overrides the DualSense features and tricks Steam into thinking you're using an Xbox controller. So those are the only two issues I could foresee happening. Sony's build quality is generally speaking pretty good lately, so I'm gonna buy one of these things. I'm super excited for it. I just want to let you guys know that you can pre-order it on October 25th, and you'll be able to get it for yourself on January 26th.